All right, it is 11:01 Central Time, so let's go ahead and get started. So hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to our Jira Service Management for ITSM webinar. We're so glad you're able to join us today for this overview of how to manage your ITSM processes within Jira Service Management. My name is Brad Wood, and I'm a consultant and Atlassian Certified Professional with Valiantys, a Platinum Solutions partner of Atlassian. And today I'm going to walk you through Jira Service Management, highlighting many of its strengths and capabilities and features related to ITSM processes. So here is our agenda for this webinar. We will start with a quick introduction, then we're going to jump into our demos within the tool and some examples of ITSM processes within Jira Service Management. And then if time allows, we will wrap up with a little bit of time for Q&A. This webinar does build upon our Jira Service Management Fundamentals webinar, which we held last week at the same time. These webinars are always in successive weeks. So if you want to join one and join the other one, they're always free to join. And we'd love to see you at another one of these. If you were able to join that, I hope you got some great fundamental knowledge of Jira Service Management. And if you weren't able to join, that webinar along with this one will always be posted on our Valiantys YouTube channel. So you can watch those at a later time by just simply heading over to YouTube and searching for Valiantys, or we will have the link in the chat here. So this webinar, like I mentioned, does build upon the fundamentals webinar, and this one is a little bit more advanced and is going to focus on the ITSM feature set within Jira Service Management. These webinars really do go hand in hand to paint that complete picture of all of the powerful features that are available within Jira Service Management. It is helpful to have a basic understanding and some basic experience with JSM to get the most out of this webinar, but it's not required by any means and won't inhibit the learning process here this afternoon. And some of those topics that we cover in the fundamentals, we look at the tool from 3 different perspectives, from our customers, our agents, and our administrators, and really look at how those 3, or rather individuals in those 3 different roles, would use the tool. We'll have another live JSM Fundamentals webinar coming up after the first of the year, January 9th. Same time, same day of the week, and always free to join. So hope to see you there as well. But today we're talking about Jira Service Management for ITSM. So we're going to talk through some of the features and applications that will be used in order to showcase the full range of ITSM capabilities in JSM. We'll look at assets during our asset and configuration management section. Assets is native to Jira Service Management. It's not an add-on, but it is only available with JSM Cloud Premium or Enterprise and JSM Data Center. Our next one we'll talk about, Opsgenie, is now also known as Operations. This is our alert and incident management system. This is native with JSM Premium and Enterprise, and it is a separate product for Data Center. Automation, if you've ever worked in Atlassian tools, you are no doubt familiar with automation and maybe even configuring automation in some regard. Completely out of the box, the only difference between the tier levels of Jira Service Management related to automation is the number of allotted rule executions per month. And automation works almost identically in Jira Service Management as it does in Jira Software. So if you're familiar over there, you will be right at home configuring automation and using automation in Jira Service Management. And then lastly, we'll touch briefly on Statuspage. This is a completely separate product. It's not included in any tier of JSM. Statuspage serves as an internal and external communication solution. We'll talk about it a little bit towards the end of this webinar. Atlassian themselves actually use Statuspage to communicate status updates to products in their ecosystem. So you can check out their publicly facing status page to see a great example of how this tool is used in the real world. And so our webinar this morning, we're going to have 3 demos. Our first demo will be related to service management. And we touch on service management quite a bit in our fundamentals webinar. But today we're going to look at it a little bit deeper and how we're integrating the assets feature of JSM into our service management process. The second one will be incident management, and we'll cover how JSM handles incident management, giving our service desk team the tools they need to respond to incidents in a timely and effective manner. And we'll talk a little bit about problem management and post-incident reviews during that section. And then lastly, we'll talk about change management. We will discuss how JSM can help manage changes within your organization, giving insight into the effects and even possible risks of enacting changes, and providing the insight you need to make informed decisions related to changes. We'll also touch on knowledge management and enterprise service management during this section. A little bit about Valiantys. We are a Platinum Solutions partner of Atlassian. We provide a number of services based around Atlassian products. We are 100% dedicated to the Atlassian ecosystem. We've been the Atlassian Partner of the Year 13 times. We've worked with 65 of the global Fortune 500 organizations. We've got a full stack development center as well that works on custom solutions for Atlassian tools. We are Atlassian's first global partner, and we provide 24/7 global coverage with over 600 team members within the organization. And I mentioned a number of different services that we provide, and this slide just mentions a few of those, including consulting, licensing for your Atlassian products, those custom solutions, integration and development, managed services, and then finally training, like this webinar, for example. And we've got a number of different training options available on our website as well, including private classes, publicly facing boot camps, and these webinars, just to name a few. And speaking of training and speaking of boot camps, this slide just covers a little bit about our Jira Service Management boot camp. This is a 2-day, really deep dive into how to configure and administer Jira Service Management. This course is designed for administrators and service desk managers, and our courses are always focused on retention. They are interactive workshops designed to leave users confident in their understanding and use of the tools and processes. And this class also covers assets, Opsgenie / operations, Statuspage. A lot of great features of Jira Service Management are covered in depth in that bootcamp. So if you have any interest in joining that, you can scan the QR code, or there should be a link in the chat for you to view all the details about that bootcamp. Our next one, again, is on November 19th and 20th. And then I'm sure we've got more scheduled looking into 2025 as well. So hopefully you can find one that fits in with your schedule. All right, so that's it for the intro. We are going to jump into our first demo, which will be asset and service management. And so when we're talking about assets and service management, we're talking about our service teams and our IT teams. The challenge that we see a lot of these teams faced with is how do they easily track and manage their assets, as well as services and service requests related to those assets. The solution is Jira Service Management, an easy to maintain assets database, seamlessly integrated with the ticketing system within JSM. And so our tools, of course, are going to be JSM, assets, and we'll talk about automation a little bit in this section as well. So with that, I am going to jump over to Jira Service Management. So here we are in a demo help center. This is the customer-facing section of Jira Service Management, in which our users can submit requests and tickets for a variety of needs. We're not going to go into the Help Center in extensive detail this morning, but we do cover that in extensive detail in that JSM Fundamentals webinar, which again, you can view that on our YouTube channel or join us for a live webinar coming up in January. So here's the Help Center. I'm just going to scroll down to our IT Service Desk portal. I'm going to select the Computers portal group, and then I'm going to select Request a New Laptop. And now we can see this request form and all of the fields that have been included that all need to fill out in order to submit this request. We can see this navigation where I could jump to a different portal group if I need to, if I've chosen the wrong one. And likewise, I could choose a different request type within this portal group, computers, if I've chosen the wrong one here. So let's go ahead and fill this out. This raise this request on behalf of field, I'm just going to leave this as myself for now. Reason for requesting new laptop is just a drop-down field. I'll say my current equipment is damaged. Any additional details is a, this is a paragraph style field, so there's a lot of different text formatting options in here, but I'll just say I dropped my laptop and it won't turn on anymore. And then we see which model would you like. This kind of looks like a simple drop-down field like we looked at up here with requesting reason for requesting new laptop, but this is actually connected to an assets object field and integrated directly with our asset management system. If I click in this field, we can see that the drop-down options appear a little bit differently. We can see some images and some more information here. And when I select one of these, I'm actually selecting a specific object in our assets database. We're going to talk a little bit later about how these objects are created and configured on the back end. But for now, just keep in mind that this is an assets object field. So I've got this all filled out. I'll click send. And then just a brief overview. Again, we won't get into too much on this, submission screen that your customers will see in the portal. But we do cover that in our fundamentals webinar. But we can see all that information that I just entered. So the reason for requesting my new laptop, the additional details, and that information that I provided, and which model I've chosen that I would like as a replacement. We can also see that this is waiting for an approval. This is leveraging automation for Jira to automatically set an approver when this request is submitted. So with that, let's head into the back end and we can see who that approver is by heading into the agent-facing side of Jira Service Management. Because I'm an agent and an admin, I'm able to just click this link and go directly into the back end of JSM. So let's do that now, and we can look at the agent-facing side of this ticket. And so here's our ticket on the back end. You can see a lot more information is included on this than in the Help Center with our customer-facing version of this. The first thing we can look at is that laptop models field. So I mentioned that that was an asset object field, and it absolutely is. We can see that object is listed right here. And if I click the Show Details dropdown, we can see a lot more information on this specific object because I'm an agent. So our object type is a MacBook Pro 16-inch. And then we can see all these different what are called attributes on our object. So additional information related to this specific laptop. So the name, the vendor, the screen size, some information on the CPU and RAM and storage. And then we can also see that it has a status. So this status has also been automatically set via an automation, providing visibility into the state of this specific object or laptop in this case. This is also going to be reflected in the assets database itself and will let everyone know that this laptop has been offered to an employee and therefore should not be offered or assigned to anyone else. This asset will also display a direct link to this request ticket in the backend, which provides kind of that two-way visibility between Jira Service Management and the assets database, letting us know that, hey, this laptop was offered to somebody related to this new laptop request, so ITSD-773. So a lot of good connectivity there between our assets database, our request that was submitted, and then also we're utilizing automation to make those connections. Over in the details section, if I scroll down a little bit, we can see that there's another assets object field on this ticket called affected equipment. And if I show details on this, we can see a lot of that same information like we saw in the laptop models field. Some of this information is also related to attributes on this specific object. We can see that this specific object is the status has been changed to damaged. So when I submitted that request, my current laptop, which is this one, it's a ThinkPad, it has this serial number and name. It is currently assigned to me. And now that I've submitted this ticket saying my current laptop is damaged, the status of that object has also changed to damaged. And the idea here is giving quick and easy access for the agent who's working this ticket to gather all the information they need on my now damaged laptop. And it also saves us time by automatically setting the status of that object via automation. So somebody doesn't have to manually do this. We just know, hey, I broke my laptop's damaged. Let's update the status on that object. The last thing I want to look at on this ticket is approvers. So we can see that Vicky Murphy was set as the approver of this ticket. This was also set via automation and assets. Our employees in our demo site are all built out as objects in the assets database. And each employee is linked to a department and a manager via what JSM refers to as references. And references are essentially just links between two objects. So they can go one direction or the other. We'll look at those here in the database in just a second. And so in this case, Vicky is my manager. So she has been added via automation as the approver of my new laptop request. And like I mentioned, those references, just a connection between two objects in JSM assets. So with that, let's head over to the assets section of JSM, and we can look at how some of these objects, attributes, and references are configured. So I'll simply click assets, and assets is a very scalable and robust tool. It can be configured in a variety of ways. Assets is organized by what they refer to as object schemas. And each schema can contain different types of objects. And so we've got ours organized into these schemas here. We've got employees, IT employee assets, etc. The IT employee assets schema is going to contain all of the object types that we have created and can be assigned to an individual employee. So let's click in there. And once we click into the schema, we can see all of the different object types on the left-hand side here that have been configured in this schema. And you can have collections of objects as well. So under hardware, we see laptop, monitor, phone. We've got some metadata objects. We've got some other things in here. So you can organize this as you see best for your organization. If I click on laptop, I'll see all the different laptops that are currently configured in this database. And if I scroll down to this one, this is the laptop that's actually assigned to me. So we can see the status is damaged. We can see that linked issues. So that request that I submitted earlier is housed in the linked issues section of this object. So that's a really great way to access or view the number of tickets that are related in some way to a specific object very quickly. There's some quick filtering options here as well. If you want to hide resolved tickets, for instance, you can do that. You can apply some JQL filters here as well if those are needed. And so, and then some of these other attributes that we've configured here as well. Not all of these are visible on the ticket in the assets object field. You can actually pick and choose which of these you want to display on a ticket in Jira Service Management. So some of these weren't displayed, but you can choose to display all of them if they're all relevant and would be useful for your agents when viewing tickets. And then lastly, we can see the owner is me. I'm an actual object built out in this database, so I can be linked to this ticket. And we talked about, or excuse me, this object. We talked about references earlier. We can see all of the outbound references on this laptop. So we can see the model type, the location, and then the owner, which is me. Let's head back to assets and we'll go to our employees schema. So we've built out an example of our internal org chart so we can look at how that's configured. In this schema, we see that we have a couple different object types, employee, department, and then assignment group, which would be used for some advanced configurations as well. In the employee section, we see all the different attributes that are associated with the employee objects. Attribute fields are generally just text fields, but more sophisticated attribute types can be added, like a Jira user field. So for instance, this user attribute that we've configured is actually this is my actual Jira user. So we can see my email address. I could go to my profile from here. So we can see that this object is now linked to my Jira profile, or rather my Jira account. So that can be really powerful as well. We can also have object type fields, which link directly to other objects. We saw that previously on the laptop. We've got more of those linked here. So an important thing to note on here for that automation that set Vicky as the approver of my request, it's because she's my manager and her object has been set as the manager on my object here in our assets database. And then we can see an inbound reference from that laptop we looked at earlier. So again, just visualizing and creating those connections between multiple objects via references. And then we can also click on Object Graph to get another way to visualize all those inbound and outbound references. So again, we see my object type. I'm referenced to my manager, which is Vicky Murphy. My department is HR. This is my laptop, which is assigned to me. I'm located in New York, and this group assignment rule. So, and then we can actually click on these as well. So we can click on the HR object to see some quick information on that. I could go directly to the object by clicking up here if I want to see some more information about the HR department, for instance. And we've also got our linked issues section as well. So if we go back to my user, we would see any issues where I might be set in an assets field by clicking on that object. So the object details section is just another great way to visualize all of those connections, like I mentioned, between your objects and what are they linked to via inbound or outbound references. And you can get really creative with your attributes as well. So any information that it really needs to be stored or provided with your objects should be built out as an attribute, and you can house all that information within the assets database. So that's going to do it for our service and asset management demo, and we are going to head back to our slides very quickly, and we'll move on to our next demo. All right, so we're going to move on to incident management, and we're really seeing this as related to IT teams or IT operations departments. The challenge that we see is how do we respond quickly to incidents to get things back on track and ensure proper follow-up? Well, our solution is going to be centrally managed alerting, tracking of deployments and service relationships, an incident command center, integrated communications, and we'll do all of that with Jira Service Management, Opsgenie /operations, Statuspage, and even Confluence. So a lot of great tools that Atlassian provides to assist us with our incident management processes. So let's start by going back to the Help Center. And we are going to scroll down to our IT service desk. And we'll go to servers and infrastructure. And we're going to choose the report a system problem request type. So we're going to say the website is down as our summary. Right away, we can see that Jira Service Management is providing some suggested knowledge base articles. These are stored in our knowledge base, which is powered by Confluence. And the idea here is to promote ticket deflection. These articles are linked to this request type and are populating via keywords. We can see those keywords are highlighted in bold in the either the title or the body of these articles. And the idea is really to help our customers solve their own problems and provide more insight into what they're experiencing via these related articles. For our demo this morning, I'm just going to say that these articles are not helping me solve the incident that I am experiencing, so I'll continue with submitting my request. But if an article did happen to help a customer solve their own problem, they could just simply not submit this ticket, and we would have deflected something for our service team to work on. I'll just scroll down here. Website will not load. Affected services. So this field is another example of an assets object field. It's a little unique in that it doesn't require JSM Premium to use this functionality. It's actually a feature that you can turn on with JSM Standard as well. You do need to turn on the incident management feature in your project in order to enable the use of the affected services field. It's also unique in that it's a multi-select field, whereas in our previous demo, the laptop object field was just single select. So we'll scroll down here and we'll say the website is the affected service, and we could see I would be able to add multiple services here if I need to. We've got an attachment field here. You can add these to your request types in Jira Service Management and ask customers to provide a screenshot of the error or the outage that they're seeing or any other related information that should be attached. And then these last two fields are not required. We can see they don't have this red asterisk. So I'm just simply not going to fill those out. And then I will click send. Once I've submitted this ticket, this is a familiar screen that we saw in our previous demo. Notice on this request type, we've got a link here. Website is down, view status page. And this link will take us to a demo instance of Statuspage. And really, Statuspage is that either internal or external facing kind of web page that will monitor certain services that you have and can provide updates to users on those services when there might be a problem. We can see that there's a banner announcement here. Website is down. We're currently investigating this issue. So you can add that directly to the homepage of your Statuspage instance if you'd like to. And we also see that information reflected here on this ticket. So communicating to your customers, hey, we know there's an outage and we are actively working on it, can be really powerful when you are managing incidents and may result in less tickets being submitted as well, or it will at least let your customers know we understand there's an issue and we are working on it. So it's good to use all of those different communication methods. So let's click on the issue key and we'll look at the agent view of this ticket, and we'll see what's different between this incident issue type versus the request that we looked at previously. So this is an incident. We want to find the root cause of this outage as quickly and effectively as possible in order to resolve this issue in a timely manner. That affected services field that I mentioned before, again, this is an assets object field. We can expand this to see some more information. When I expand this, I see a list of open incidents on this service, which is basically showing other incident tickets where the website was selected in the affected services field. This can help create or paint a bigger picture of the incidents that are related to this service, promote communication across team members or possibly even other teams working on these incidents, and ultimately help lead to a quicker resolution of the issue. And it can also provide insight that maybe there's a larger issue at hand if there are a large number of incidents that are related to the same service. In this case, we see 43 open incidents on this service. So yeah, there's probably a bigger problem at play here with the website if there are many, many tickets coming in, or it's at least affecting many users. So this is great information to have that, okay, we need to action on this as quickly as possible because there are so many open incidents on this service. We scroll down, we see that this is a tier 1 service, and that's going to play a bigger part in our change management demo, but you can select tiers for your affected services in Jira Service Management. If I scroll down even a little bit more and expand this, we see changes on affected services, which is a list of change requests that have been submitted and completed related to the same affected service, which again is the website. This is powered by including the affected services asset object field on not just our incident requests, but our change requests as well. And this can help provide insight, or at least a starting point, for your agents to track down any changes that might be happening either currently or maybe could be the root cause of the incident we're experiencing. Perhaps maybe a change is in process and that's what's causing the website to be down, or a very recently completed change created a problem and the website is down. This can be really helpful for your agents to track through these tickets, find out what the change was, when it was made, who made it, etc., and try and solve that incident that way. If we scroll to the top of our ticket, we also have this investigate button, and we can investigate deployments that might have happened related to this service as well. So what this is looking at is Bitbucket, which is another Atlassian product. It's our CI/CD pipeline, code repository, etc. And this is going to show any recent code deployments that are related to this service, which again is the website. So these deployments can, again, give us more insight into the incident request that was submitted as a possible cause. We could click on this deployment itself and head over to Bitbucket and find out what it was and who made it and when and all that good stuff. We could also, if we think this is a potential cause, we can hover over this deployment, select as potential cause, and then I would click add potential causes if we think this might be the cause of the incident, and then that information would be logged on the ticket as well. So all of that is going to be there. Your open incidences, or excuse me, open incidents related to the same service, changes that have been made to this service, possible potential causes from code deployments, and we can log all of that on our incident ticket, and again, just paint that whole picture of like what has been happening related to this service recently or historically, and are any of these the cause of the incident that we are experiencing. If I scroll to the bottom, in our activity section, we cover this a little bit in that fundamentals webinar. When we add comments, we can either add an internal note or we can reply to customer. So an internal note would be an agent-facing comment only, whereas a reply to customer comment would be visible to our customers. We can see there's an extra button here that's called Inform Stakeholders. And stakeholders are another feature, part of that advanced ITSM set in Jira Service Management. and can include individuals who need to be aware of an incident, but aren't necessarily going to be actively working on the incident. So if maybe they're a stakeholder related to the website and I want to add them as a stakeholder to this ticket, I could do this. When we use this function, updates on the ticket will send an email to both the responders/agents working on the ticket, the responders related to the affected service, and anyone who's been added to that stakeholder list. So again, keeping people in the loop and who should be informed on the progress of the incident can be achieved by using the stakeholders feature. Over on our right-hand side in the details section, part of the incident management feature in JSM is marking something as a major incident. Toggling this on will add our incident to a queue called major incidents, which can provide even greater visibility and urgency to that particular ticket. Maybe you set an automation up to email certain individuals when something is marked as a major incident, and it can also just keep things a little bit more organized rather than having this ticket in some other queue. The queue might not already be set up in your project, but you can create it using that same process that we covered last week in the Fundamentals webinar. So if you'd like to learn about how to set up queues in your service management projects, check that out on YouTube. And there are, like I mentioned, there's some other ways to enhance this functionality with the major incident toggle, utilizing automation, our notifications, etc. So let's say with all that information, we were able to find the cause of this incident and resolve it, and we're ready to close it out. Well, if we scroll up to the top here, we can see this button, Add Post-Incident Review. This is going to pull up a new create screen for us to create a post-incident review. We can see that we've even got a specific issue type that comes with Jira Service Management for post-incident review. And our agents can fill this form out and create that PIR issue directly from the incident itself. It'll also link back to the issue. So I'm not going to create one of these, but I will pull up an example. And we can take a quick look at a PIR. So we can see in this particular example, just close this. We can see the primary incident that it was related to, which is this ticket. It's also linked or rather housed in the linked issues section. If it was related to other incident, if we were reviewing other incidents with this PIR issue type, we would see that in this section as well. Over on well, one other thing, we can click on timeline for this incident, and we can see some log actions of all the activity that has occurred on this incident. So we can open that directly from the PIR issue, which is really great. And if we need to go to the incident itself, we could just click Open Incident. So again, more connectivity between our incidents and our PIRs, which is really great. Over on the right-hand side, we can see a section called Incident Summary, and this provides a number of different fields with relevant information related to that incident ticket. So we can see when it was created, it's still an ongoing incident, so it's not closed yet, who it was assigned to, the priority, who are the responders, and again, which service was affected by that incident. So a lot of great information linked between our PIRs and our incidents. Let's go back to our incident ticket, and we'll just review a couple more things here. With Jira Service Management, you do have the opportunity to create some communication channels directly related to and linked to your ticket. We can see we've got Slack here, so we could add a Slack channel. We've got Microsoft Teams, so we could connect Teams if we need to do that, or Zoom. So we can create dedicated calls or chat channels through those features. The This is powered through Opsgenie or Operations, which again is included in JSM Premium. Atlassian has been in the progress over several months of integrating Opsgenie directly into JSM, and it's now referred to as Operations. If we did set this up, any agent would be able to join that conference call or that chat directly from the ticket, as long as the ticket is open and the channel is open. And then responders, this is also built out in Operations, and we'll take a quick look at that now. So, like I mentioned, Operations is Atlassian's incident alerting and response tool. It can connect JSM with other monitoring tools as well. Alerts within Operations can become issues in JSM, and issues in JSM can trigger alerts in Operations. Like I mentioned, it's been rolled into JSM as Operations in most instances now, including this demo site. And it's powered by the Teams feature. So if you've been using JSM Teams in the past, this is some enhanced functionality now related to the Teams feature in terms of alerts and on-call schedules and monitoring tools, etc. So we can see this team is set up Team Alpha. We've only got a couple members here. All of that familiar information related to team activity is here. But we can also see Operations now. So we've got a new section here. I can click Go to Operations. And if you're already familiar with Opsgenie, this will look very similar. And if you're not, it's very intuitive. So this is our team in Operations. This is sort of our on-call section. So we can see we've got one routing rule set up. We've got some escalation policies. Here's our on-call schedule. We can head over to this integration section, and we could integrate with a number of different tools if we want to. Atlassian products for sure, Slack, Teams. We can integrate with things via API, and just a number of different services. So it's very likely that there's already a native integration connection here for the tool that you need to integrate with. But if not, you can just use the API. So a lot of great connectivity there. Over here in our heartbeat section, this is a way that we can ping a service at a specific interval and then create alerts if that ping is not received back in a certain amount of time. So like I mentioned, this has all kind of been rolled into JSM directly now. It's powered by JSM Teams and can be a really, really powerful tool for your alerting needs, your system monitoring needs, integrating with other tools and systems, etc. So that's just a quick look at Operations, and definitely check out our YouTube channel or check out our JSM Bootcamp if you want to learn more about Operations. We've got a lot of great information there on Operations. All right. That's going to do it for incident management. With the time remaining, we will do our change management demo. This is targeted for our change managers and our developers. The challenge we see is how do we manage risk, coordinate changes, and ease bureaucratic effort. The solution is going to be automated risk assessment, ticket creation, and resolution. And the tools we'll use are JSM, Bitbucket, and automation. So let's head back to Jira, and we're going to start in a Jira software project. And so I'm going to create a quick ticket here. I'm going to say add Euro to payroll system. And I'll create this ticket. And then we'll just open this up for use in a little bit. Because this is a Jira software ticket, we're not able to leverage the use of forms, form fields. We're not able to create this from the portal, but we'll see how this ticket will relate back to JSM later in this demo. So I've got my request here for my software team, add Euro to the payroll, and let's head over to Bitbucket and actually do that. So here we are in Bitbucket. Again, it's our CI/CD solution and code repository, etc. We're going to go to the payroll repository, and we'll just make a quick update to one of our files in here. And we'll give this just a second, and we'll just make a quick change, and we'll say commit. And we will add a commit message here, updated per, and we just need the issue key from this request, SSP-129. And we'll select commit here. And so because we're making this commit related to a Jira software request, we do say the best practice is to add that in the commit message. And we'll see some other connectivity here as well. So if I go to pipelines, we can see here's that commit I just made, updated per SSP 129. We can see that it's in progress, and it might just take a second or two until this is completed. We'll give it just a second here to do that. All right, and we can see now that that commit was successful. Let's head back to our software ticket and give that a quick refresh. All right, and we can see now that we've got one commit that was linked to the ticket. That's the commit we just executed in Bitbucket. We can also see now there's a linked issue and there's a change request linked to this. Not only is it linked, it's already completed. And so let's click into that and see what's going on with this change request. It might seem odd that a change request ticket was automatically completed without going through any kind of approval or anything like that. But like we talked about earlier with our affected services and our tiers, this service, the payroll service, is a tier 3 service. And we are not requiring changes on that service to go through any approval or anything like that. And the idea here is to create those efficiencies by automating several processes and steps to deploy the change. Once the change was deployed, the change request ticket was automatically created, transitioned to completed, and linked to the original software ticket. And all the relevant information is on the JSM ticket as well. So started over in Jira Software, made an update in Bitbucket. It created a change ticket, linked everything together, and that's all powered through automation on the back end. So some cool stuff you can do with automation in your changes and related to all those great tools. So that's a tier 3 service. What about a tier 2 or a tier 1 service? Let's create another ticket for our software team, and we'll say update the mobile app. Let's go back up to the top. Update the mobile app. And we'll create this ticket. And we'll just open that up really quickly. And we'll go through the same process. So we're going to go back to our repositories, and we'll choose the mobile app, and we'll make another update to another one of our files. Commit, and then we just need that issue key again, which is SSP 130. Dated per SSP-130. We'll commit our change. We'll go over to our pipeline and give this a quick refresh. And we can see that commit is in progress again. So let's give that just a quick second to run, and we'll see what happens with this mobile app update. All right, so we can see this has been paused or halted. And if we click into this, we can see that there is a change request pending. So a change request is pending for this deployment. When the change request is complete, the deployment will automatically resume. And we could click directly to this change request from the commit in Bitbucket if we'd like to. But for now, we'll go back to our software ticket and we'll refresh. And as expected, things are going to look a little bit differently on this request than they did in the previous demo. So we'll see there is a commit associated with this. It has not been completed, and we can see a linked issue here, this change request. At this time, the change request is in the authorized status and not completed. So let's look at that change request and figure out why that is. And so if we look at the affected services field and expand this, we can see that the mobile app is a tier 1 service. And so we do have tier 1 services configured to require an approval when there is a change request related to that. We can see that this is now waiting for approval. We can see all the different approvers who have been set here. And in this case, I am one of those approvers. So I can simply click approve and approve this request. Now we see that it's been moved to awaiting implementation, and I'm going to transition this to the implementing status. And if I go back to Bitbucket now, we can see the change is, or the update to the code has resumed, and we will see it deployed here in just a second. All right, and we can see that now that it's been deployed, this commit is complete. So we can close Bitbucket. We can go back to our change ticket. And once that's been completed, we should see our change ticket has been completed as well because the commit in Bitbucket is completed. And lastly, if we head over to our original software ticket, which is where this request originated from, we will see the change request reflected here as well as being completed. So that is 2 different examples of how you can link Jira software, Jira Service Management, and Bitbucket through automation in the back end, how to manage your change management process to your different products that your team is managing via your software requests, your commits within Bitbucket, changes to your code, and how to reflect those changes and those updates in a variety of locations. So in this example, a software ticket, a change request in Jira Service Management, the actual commits in Bitbucket, and have all of those tools communicating with each other and reflecting the relevant and related information via automation. So a lot of powerful tools, again, with the Atlassian ecosystem, and a lot of great ways to connect all the different tools as well. All right. That's going to do it for our change management demo. I'm going to check the chat here really quickly and see if there's any questions. We do have a couple minutes for Q&A, but it doesn't look like we have anything in here. So we can go ahead and wrap just a couple minutes before the top of the hour and give everybody a little bit of time back. So hopefully you found those 3 demos informative on how Jira Service Management can really enhance your ITSM processes for your organization or your team. If you have any other questions related to Jira Service Management, anything Atlassian related, anything in the ecosystem, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can contact me via email. You can contact me via LinkedIn. Scan this QR code for that information. My email address is listed here. That information is in the chat as well. And don't forget to check out all of our content on our Valiantys YouTube page. We post a variety of content on there related to Atlassian tools. So product updates, new features, tips and tricks for admins, and all of our webinars. So hours and hours of great content on there, and a lot of good learning opportunities on YouTube. Again, just search Valiantys when you head over to YouTube, or the link is in the chat. And then lastly, don't forget about our other webinars, events, training. If you scan this second QR code, it'll take you to our training site, or the link is in the chat for that as well. All of the information related to our free webinars, our boot camps, like the JSM boot camp I mentioned before. We have a Jira boot camp. We have a Confluence boot camp. We've got an Angular boot camp even as well. So lots and lots of great learning opportunities there. Again, head over to our Valiantys training page for all of that information. So I just want to thank everybody again for joining us this morning. Again, I hope you found this webinar informative. And again, don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions related to Atlassian products. Thanks again for being here, and have a great day.